Welcome back, y'all. Coach Paul Malala from One Degree Coaching, co-author of You Have Infinite Power, and our newest book, co-authoring with a good client and friend of mine called The Freedom Equation, Life by Design. It's really designed for financial advisors and high-level executives to live out a financial advisory blueprint lifestyle by design. Thank you for tuning into this. We're really grateful and humbled. I want to share with you, I guess, a trademark process that we teach at One Degree Coaching. And all our coaches, including myself, we promise the people that hire us that they're going to get, through at least our first year of coaching, what we call Life Alignment Blueprint. The lab report. I like acronyms. Now, the lab report or the Life Alignment Blueprint, I want you to think about this for a second. Most humans statistically will spend more time planning out like a summer vacation or a trip. I knew people that will spend more time planning out like a party night, or a weekend party their whole life. Like they're not planning out their wills, their trust, their goals, their vision. They don't do it. They're just small thinkers. No judgment, but that's just the truth. More energy goes into a trip or a party instead of their whole freaking life for them and their family. We will dive deep into our client's mind and get them to visualize and focus and write out what they want. That's the first step of my coaching process, is to have clarity. But the Life Alignment Blueprint has 4 components. Here's the first one. You hear me use this term, worthy ideal. Now, I didn't make up this term. I was a coach under Bob Proctor. He was one of my mentors, and Bob Proctor was in a movie called The Secret. He wrote a book called You Were Born Rich. He was an amazing personal development influencer that's no longer here with us. And I was a coach underneath his life success consultant company 15, 20 years ago, before I kind of branded myself into One Degree Coaching. And he had a mentor, and his mentor was Earl Nightingale. And Earl Nightingale said that success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. His definition of success: progressive realization of a worthy ideal. When you think of the word progressive, to me it's ongoing, continuous. Realization are most likely these aha experience or moments that we have as humans in our personal and professional life. But a worthy ideal, it's a movement. It's a movement. It should be bigger than you. When you think of a worthy ideal, it should get you up in the morning. Sometimes you're so excited you can't sleep. Sometimes you're living through this worthy ideal and you're not getting paid. And then sometimes you are getting paid. You could feel like you do it for hours at a time and you don't get tired and fatigued. It actually keeps you in flow state. It should be bigger than you. A movement should serve for the better or the good in your marketplace. Hopefully, around your business or your career or what you do in your industry. And it should have no ego attached to it. There are times I coach a lot of financial advisors and they're stuck, and I basically ask them, why are you so selfish? And they look at me like, Coach, what do you mean, why am I selfish? I'm like, well, if you had the cure for cancer, what would you do? Would you hoard it? They're like, no, I would share it with as many people as I can. Okay, great. Well, you're a financial advisor. If you want my humble opinion, what keeps most humans up at night? They're like, money. What causes a lot of friction in intimate marriages with husbands and wives? They go, money. What does most people think and worry about? Their retirement, their college fund for their kids, whatever. Okay, cool. Well, money's kind of like a mental and emotional cancer. Probably could cause cancer from all the anxiety and stress it puts on people. So you have a cure for financial cancer. Why wouldn't you share it with as many people as you can and offer that? Offer your help. You're making it about you. And so the worthy ideal is a whole process that we take our clients through. And this is the very first thing that we do once we create what I call the paradigm breakthrough. Once we kind of get past what people want, understand their levels of awareness, understand any paralyzing paradigms, we create paradigm shifts, we create new empowering statements, we future pace to pass, and we got to recondition it. Once I create that base in clients, I move to this Life Alignment Blueprint. We start navigating our clients through their worthy ideal, why they do what they do, what inspired them, who was it? Was there something that took place in your background that inspired you to move in this direction? Before One Degree Coaching, I had a chain of martial arts schools, United Martial Arts Centers. I was a 7-year-old kid that was bullied. And I share this story a lot. Childhood bully, Tommy Gonzalez. I was always short, still am short. I have no control over that. So when people make fun of my height, I'm like, dude, I got no control over my height. I got control over my fitness. I got control over how I respond to you. Being dumb, calling me short. I also have control how much money I can make. That's on me. But going back, I was bullied. I wasn't good at sports. I actually sucked. I felt so bad for my dad at traditional sports. And this kid, Tommy, picked on me. I started training martial arts. A couple months go by, got off the bus. My mom just had a set of twins, so she was home. She couldn't get me, and I had about a quarter-mile walk, half-mile walk to my house where I grew up. And I finally had this confidence. I stepped back to my martial arts stance. Tommy laughed at me. I fake low went high, popped him in his nose. He started bleeding. I ran like Forrest Gump as fast as I could. Tommy never picked on me, ever again. Childhood best friend. Became his best man in his wedding. Became his best man in his second wedding. And we're still friends today. I'm so grateful and proud of him. He's found Jesus. He found God. He surrendered, and he didn't know it, but he was an alcoholic for over 5 years. I had no clue. And now he's been sober for over 3, and he's on a different path. And I was grateful I could still help him, coach him out of that in that time of his life. And he's a really still a good friend. But going back, I was bullied, and the feeling I got from being confident led me into becoming a martial art teacher. And all I wanted to do was help other kids feel empowered to be confident through martial arts. Dude, that was literally a situation that I went through that triggered me to go down the martial art path, right? There was this evolution of that, and so we start to investigate, what happened in our life that get us to kind of pivot into this direction. You got to think bigger than yourself around your worthy ideal. And we're going to create a worthy ideal statement and look out for videos that hone in on the worthy ideal, and then also your worthy ideal story. And the story then triggers you to your business. So if I was sitting across, I'm talking about my martial art business at the time. Now I have a different story for the coaching business. But if I sat across from a mom and a dad who has their child here at the martial arts school, as an example, and I would teach this to our staff. I would call it a worthy ideal story. It's emotional. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, we're so grateful that you're here at United Martial Arts Centers. We're definitely going to share with you what we do here, how our course and our program works, but more importantly, with permission, can I share with you what I do and why? Now they're looking at me, and I was called Grandmaster Malala. That's just no ego thing, but my title in the martial arts is a 7th degree black belt. I was Grandmaster Malala. So they see me in this martial art uniform. I like to think I'm confident and put together. We have a successful business. And so, this, like parents are sitting there like, this guy's trying to sell me a membership, but it really wasn't about selling memberships for sure. I really want to make an impact. That's the truth. I know what they're thinking. Like, this guy's going to sell me a membership. Look at all these kids here. He cares about money. Most likely, not everybody. But I said, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, when I was your son's age, I was bullied. And I tell him the story about Tommy. I said, got off the bus. After training about 6 months, high confidence, self-esteem, fake low went high. And I tell them how we became childhood best friends, best man, and they laugh. And I go, listen, Mr. Smith, Mrs. Smith, I'm committed in helping your child become confident and develop self-esteem and have the discipline and focus that they need to be successful, not only in our program, but this, when a kid is successful in the martial art program, they're gonna get better grades, they have more confidence outside in public and in school and other sports, and a successful kid becomes a successful teenager, and successful, confident teenagers become successful, confident adults. You're not just buying a martial art program, you're buying confidence. And then I would go into my worthy ideal statement is to lead, teach, and inspire children and families become the best version of themselves, physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, so they can live a life of health, happiness, fulfillment with their own sense of passion and purpose. And there was a system, there were scripts tying into the worthy ideal. And I would always focus on that impact I want to make in that person's life. It wasn't about the sale. It wasn't about the commission of that membership. It was literally driven out of my worthy ideal, my mission, my movement in that business. And the same thing is applied to 1 degree coaching. And our clients establish this worthy ideal in our coaching process. Step 2 is what we call your life's purpose. A lot of people, well, what's the difference between a worthy ideal and a life's purpose? The life's purpose is how you do what you do. It's a direct reflection on the human you need to become in order to be a servant and worthy of the worthy ideal of that movement. You know, it's the husband you're going to become, the wife you're going to become, the parent you're going to become, the producer, the business professional, the leader, the community leader. It's your standard. It's your core values, right? A lot of people think that they want to have the thing. Well, you can't have anything unless you do certain things in a certain way. That's your standard. And in order to do certain things in a certain way, you have to become somebody first. You got to become confident, become humble, become integral. Literally, it's the be, do, have philosophy. So in this segment of our coaching process, we're literally designing a life purpose statement, a standard. It's literally your core value creed for yourself. And I'm telling you, when you read out these geeky statements, the worthy ideal statement, the life's purpose statement, you're basically reconditioning and in a weird way, positively brainwashing yourself on your movement, on who you want to become within your lifetime, your purpose as a human. And when and if you ever do something or say something that's not in alignment, you're going to feel icky. It's going to feel off, or awkward because it's out of alignment, right? So this is literally shifting your internal DNA by doing these steps in the process. Here's a third step in the blueprint. We call it your core 4 areas of life. Now, there's different seasons that we're all in. You know, we have spring, summer, fall, winter. Right? So there's no right or wrong, by the way. So in our book, You Have Infinite Power, I identify 14 areas of life. I'm not going to get into it on this video, but let's just keep it simple. What I've seen the majority of people focus in on is their health, their intimate relationships, meaning their husband, wife, or partner, their family, meaning their kids, parents, siblings, and I think they're 2 different things, different video I'll explain, career, money, and then there's also faith. So those are the 4 or 5 that I see in most humans. And I don't care if you're a Ferrari that has 3 flat tires, that's no good. And this is a true story. Years ago, and this is probably, if I'm 52, I'm filming this, I was in my 30s, so it was probably 20 years ago. I was doing a workshop and I had a very high level advisor, very well respected in his industry. And he had to have been about 15 years my senior. And he's sitting across from me and he's very confident. And I knew what he was at as far as production and income level. And I looked at him and I said, do I have permission to speak freely? And he goes, yeah, go ahead. I go, I don't think you're successful. Now, as a coach, I am not here to say what is success for you or I. I believe that every single human being has the right to define your own definition of success. But what I will say, I've coached hundreds, if not thousands of humans in the past 15, 20 years, not including the literally thousands of students I taught in the martial arts for over 30 years. What I will say is that I've had clients, still do, 7+ income earners, but then their health is horrible. I've had people that were physically fit, like externally muscular, but internally, they're constantly getting sick. There's stress in their body. They're toxic, right? Their vitality is low. That's not success. I had people that were so-called spiritual. They're either literally like have a Christian faith, or some of my clients have the Jewish faith, God's number one, and prayer and all that, but then they're broke. That's not success to me. I believe that success should be experienced in multiple areas of life, depending on what most important is to you at a certain season, and it should be in line with your worthy ideal and your purpose. This is why it's got to be in alignment. So what we do in this area, we figure out what season of life someone's in, what their core areas of life currently are, and then now at this point, they're starting to evaluate their mission, their worthy ideal, right, their movement. They're starting to question who they are, their standard, their life's purpose, and all of a sudden these things shift. And I'll be honest, like when I first did a similar exercise like this, I was with Tony Robbins in his Date with Destiny, and Gina and I were in Australia, and I don't even think we were married yet. You know, honest, my business was new and we had no kids. I don't even think we were married yet. We're about to get married. If I'm honest, yeah, I had career and money as my number one. Literally my number one. It trumped my family. It trumped my wife, my fiance. It trumped my fitness, my health. It was literally career money. There's nothing wrong with that. I was in that spring season. I was building a business. But when I started to evaluate who I wanted to be, and then my movement, thinking about my business, I was like, man, I can have the best wife. I can have an awesome business and make all this money and make this impact and eventually have a great family, which I believe I do now. But if I don't have my health, it don't mean shit. And then later on in life, I tried doing it all and I didn't have God in my life. And I'm gonna share something. You wanna do something big? Do it without God, see what happens. It ain't gonna work. It's not going to work. Once I surrendered, I don't care what your faith is, you need to surrender to your higher power. I choose to say God, I choose to say Jesus. That's me. You can choose whatever you want. Once I put God in my life again, man, floodgates open. So now I'm not right or wrong, I'm not superimposing my core values on you, my areas of life on you, but my core four is my health, my wife, our kids, my business, our career, and I got my faith hovering over me. So I say God first, family second, mission third. That's my order. I attempted to operate out of misalignment and I hit a wall. Yeah, I had this martial art businesses, the schools, the real estate, the income, the students, the house, the cars, and then God was like this, took it all away. All away, and remind me what is the main thing, Paul. And once I put the main thing back, I got it all back even better. You've got to know what your core four are. You've got to put your focus. I say this all the time. You show me your calendar, I'll show you your results. Every 15, 30, 60-minute increments in my calendar, in my client's calendar, especially during the week. Here's my motto. Before you enter the door, the bedroom door, you better hit your core four. Like when you look at my calendar, this is true. I'll show anyone my calendar. Its majority of my activity is geared to my core four. Everything else is fucking noise. It's the truth. It's noise. Literally noise. A distraction. Napoleon Hill calls it drifting. You drift off your purpose. You drift off your mission. You drift off the main quadrants of your life, the main tires in your life. So that's step three. Now, step four, yeah, we talk about goals, but I'm gonna share something with you. Goals come and goals go. That's just the truth. You know, I'm gonna say it. I could offend someone right now, but that's Coach Paul. That's it. I'm gonna say it. You know what a goal is? An orgasm. It feels really good when it happens, but you can't walk around in an orgasmic state. You can't walk around. Here's what happens. You hit the 100K, what's next? You hit 200K, what's next? You hit 500K, what's next? You hit 1 million, what's next? Hit 2 million, what's next? You buy one business, what's next? High achievers, people that hire me, enough's never gonna be enough. That's why you're unfulfilled. Goals are sexy and goals must be there, but goals are byproducts of the areas of life that are most important to you, who you are as a human, your core values, your standard, who you're gonna be, and your mission, your worthy ideal. When you have your goals aligned to these other three things, and it's in this order, you feel fulfilled. Everything has meaning. Everything is congruent. Everything is aligned. This is where you get into flow state. So, let's design your worthy ideal. Let's design your life's purpose. Let's figure out what core four areas are most important and time block the main action steps, the main rocks for you to advance and grow those core four areas and make deposits into those bank accounts. And let's hit your goals. Because once your goals come, they're gonna go, and we're gonna revise new goals, make higher standards, and that's how you grow. But you're growing with a sense of direction in a GPS that feels good. And by the way, your worthy ideal could evolve, but you're at least, and you'll never get there and go, I'm here. It's constantly, right, progressive realization of a worthy ideal. This is what we do at 1 Degree Coaching. This is how we make an impact on your life. I promise you, when you understand this blueprint, your life will never be the same.